welcome you back. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of nut jobs on. Welcome back to my channel, to the De Lo Mio show. By this time, you should know the routine. You heard it everywhere on YouTube. So like, share, subscribe, and comment. So I wanted to talk about moral compass and critical thinking and being a realist, thinking outside the box. And the reason why I say all of that is because I've noticed that no matter what type of video I put out, it could be about something nice, it could be about something bad. People always complain or have something negative to say. Now, I understand, like I'm not ignorant or oblivious to people not damn, what's going on with my Cybertruck? Anyway, why is it turning off? Anyway, I'm aware that people have different opinions and that not everybody see everything the same way, which leads back to living in reality. And some people, I made a video about how great the United States is, and right away people started talking about, oh, it's bad and this and the schooling and the healthcare. But I also said in the same video that no country is perfect and that every country has its imperfectialities, if that's the word. You know what I'm saying? It has its issues, but you have to live in reality. Like, yes, or when you talk about free health care and this and the other, like a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? People just live in a fantasy world that, in the way that our society around the world is set up, won't be possible. And it's going to take a lot to get there. And it's not by people arguing different if you have healthy discussions, then yeah, you could get there. But all this negative and violence and all that stuff, it's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I say moral compass, right? Because the moral compass tells you that, everything should be perfect, right? Like, there should be no crime. Nobody should go hungry in this world. All of that stuff that even if you don't believe in God or in the Bible and God talks about, right? That's the moral compass. In my opinion, I know that moral compass entails a whole bunch of other stuff, but the good is that, you know what I'm saying? I don't think, unless you're a psycho, I don't think that people think that something bad is good unless you're a psycho. You know what I'm saying? At that point, there is no moral compass and there's no, your way is wrong, period. You know what I'm saying? But that's the moral compass. Then comes reality, right? Reality says that people are going to go hungry. Not everybody's going to be offered the same opportunities. Why? Because of consequences in their lives, consequences in the world, the way the system is set up, because of that, not everybody is going to be equal. And not every situation is going to be the same or the outcome is going to be the same. Is it right? No. I think everybody should be treated and have everything equally. Maybe if you work a little bit harder, you should be able to have more, which that is like that makes sense. That's like, to me, it's common sense, and it's also a reality, and which leads to why some people don't have like, let's say, a lot of money, and why there's people that are richer than others. You know what I'm saying? Some people grind. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you that says, well, some people are born into wealth, well, their parents had to grind, or their parents before them. Why didn't your parents grind? And they're gonna go and say, oh, because they wasn't offered the same opportunity. Which in my opinion, so don't come at me on some crazy shit. In my opinion, they just didn't hustle right. or they didn't make the right moves. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know people that come from nothing, they come from nothing and they build something. So if you have, and it doesn't matter your color, it doesn't matter your race or nothing. Like they come, they grind, they hustle, and they get something. Um, and at this point where we at now, you know what I'm saying, is getting where you fit in. You know what I'm saying? Don't be there crying about how somebody has more money than you or they have more opportunities. Make it. Make the opportunities happen for you. You know what I'm saying? You can. The only ones that say that it can are, in my opinion, lazy people, right? And people that don't have motivation to do anything better. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I'm an immigrant. I'm a legal immigrant, and I've seen people from my country come here to this country that apparently I made a video how great this country is, but I got a whole bunch of pushback. Apparently this country sucks, but yet my parents and people that I know came here and thrived in this place. So how is it that it's such a bad place? You know what I'm saying? It's just like I said, it's all perspective and points of view. I get it, but going back to the reality of things is that you know this country offers a lot of opportunities. It's up to you to take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? So like I was saying, moral compass, reality, and the other stuff I said. You like I don't understand how people can sit there and say you know uh things are like everybody should get free healthcare. Okay, that's true. You know what I'm saying? But the reality is that it can't happen. You know what I'm saying? It could happen if the system that this world was built in was different. And I got a friend, shout out to Jerome, that he always says, technology, we have advancing technology, but in society, we still cavemen. You know what I'm saying? Um, greed, when greed goes away, this perfect world that everybody wants to talk about will exist. But until greed exists, it we live in this, and this is what you got to make happen. So yes, like even though I'm not a big believer in healthcare, just this is me, right? I don't care about healthcare. Uh, Gratefully, I don't have to worry about it because stuff that I did in my life. You know what I'm saying? But I don't go to I go like once a year because they set an appointment annually for me. If I get sick, I wait it out. Now, you anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But, I'm not big on healthcare. But everybody should, because everybody cries about it. I think everybody should get free healthcare. But how are you going to pay for that? You know what I'm saying? It's not about taxing or taking more money for corporations or the billionaires. It's not that you know is the greed. So maybe like I made another video about healthcare, right? Like maybe instead of paying insurance for health insurance, maybe they should take that money, put it in a pot, and make it, and everybody pays into that pot and it's free. But reality says that it's very difficult to do that, or that it all goes back to greed. Moral compass and all of this stuff says that everybody should get free healthcare and access to free education and all of that stuff. And although some countries do offer that, their taxes is crazy, which leads to other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I will say this to end this. I don't think I made my point because I went all over the place. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I'm very clear in what in my thought process in my head, right? But I will say this, you know, there is a way of having free healthcare, free education, and no homeless. There is a way. But because of greed, it can't happen. And one thing that I'm going to say, because a lot of people want to say corporations and billionaires and millionaires, to an extent, yes, that's true. But it's just people. You have greed. You know what I'm saying? You have greed. So it doesn't matter. If you get to a point, then they give you free stuff and then it becomes an entitlement. You want more free stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's why the whole thing that says, feed a man, he eats for one day. Teach him how to fish, he eats forever. If you just get handed out free stuff, you're not gonna be motivated to do anything. Some people will, but the sad reality is that most won't. You know, and when you have a situation like that, like it kills progression. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody, if there's no incentive, right? I'm talking about, the incentive now in this system is greed, is money, is having stuff, right? If that incentive doesn't exist, then who the hell is going to try to do anything to better anything? Now, when the mentality of humanity changes, and we are far away from it, because even the ones that talk about, share everything, they're saying that because they don't have nothing. But as soon as they have something, they're like, oh, whoa, whoa, not my stuff. There's a lot of examples of that. You know what I'm saying? You could look at people that talk this good talk about free everything and give and give and give, but they don't want their stuff taken. So greed at all levels, you know what I'm saying? When it changes and everybody, then we could have this utopia that everybody's talking about, of free education, free healthcare, free housing, all of that stuff. But we as the people are not ready. And I'm gonna tell you one big reason because of that. Because as this video goes out, just think about this, right? When this video goes out, your first response or your first reaction, if you disagree, is to say something hateful. So when hate leaves us, humanity, and greed, then we'll be ready to have this utopia world where everybody's taken care of and everything is free. But as you will see in this video, some people are going to talk some smack, and that is the problem. I say all of that. I know I was all over the place, but if you have two brain cells and you just sit, I'm not telling you to argue with me, you know what I'm saying, or like say anything. Just take this message and think it through all the way, because it's not just about taking money from some people and giving it to others. That's not going to help anything. You know what I'm saying? And there's examples of like this. It has been proven that doesn't work. That doesn't work. You could even test this theory, right? You could give, if you're in that position, you could give somebody money or something and watch how they take care of it or how they value it. Some people will, because their moral compass or the way they are, they'll value it and treasure it, but the majority won't. This is why when you see a homeless person and you give them money, you know what I'm saying, many go and buy drugs or go use the whatever, you know what I'm saying, instead of buying some food or saving it. So again, this message, I know people are going to write crazy stuff on here. They always, because everybody has a fucking opinion, even though they're wrong. And that's why I'm saying, live in reality. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to say something and give all this book answer and all this stuff and blah, 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 I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because many countries, other governments have tried this whole free stuff, and look how it ends up, because of greed. You know what I'm saying? So once we get the greed out, you know what I'm saying, and we are far away from that, you know what I'm saying, then we could talk about this utopia world. I hope I'm saying the word right, but this perfect world where everything is free and people are being taken care of. You know what I'm saying? But until then, this is the best system we have. And again, I'm going to end it because I keep repeating and I keep going off. Just take this message or parts of it, and think about it. To sit, think about it, and go through the process. You know what I'm saying? Don't listen to this message and listen to reply, right? Listen to this message and listen to think. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, take the message, take the information, take your time, and like I always say, okay, I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So you have a lot of nut jobs on other things.